Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody? I'm mainly going to be recording while I'm talking, so I could get both things done at once. I figure, give you something to listen to and to look at. So I want to post something, obviously, this is for the sake of the performers, the artists, the elites, the leaders, the people who are right now basically going, what the fuck? They're going, what the fuck? Where did this come from? How did that happen? What do we do? They can't do anything. What's going to happen? What should we expect? Especially because the whole deal is that it's, the prediction thing is out the window, right? False prophet, PROPHET, false prophet system is that prediction beast, markers of the beast system. Dear God, for the love of, it's technology, we're going to fix technology. That's one of the things on my list. Technology right now is not our friend. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some things that I anticipate that I will be addressing and changing. Right, it's now the time to talk about technology. Well, no, it isn't. The first priority is our children. There's 50 million women, sorry, I'm trying to get it situated and I got it plugged in, whatever. It's the situation. Our children, they are the presence of the Lord in the land. Let me tell you something. First of all, the truth about hierarchy of the family has been defrauded. It has been defrauded. That's the Bible has been used. It's a compilation of fragments from around the world, and they, it's like a long URL address. They had to come up with what they believe it meant. And there's other options for those words' meanings. And the concordance, the Strong's Concordance, is how you can look that information up. But so, because of the circumstance that I'm in, God has also, God speaks through me. God dwells within me. This is the truth. So I'm familiar with when I read through Matthew. I went there to find something, and I knew what it was talking about when it talks about Jesus going down to the. Basically, his disciples were gang stalkers. But anyway, I'm not getting into that right now. So the Bible has been what was used to defraud humanity about the hierarchy. That was man that came in and swapped out her and put himself in her position as the creation. God created a woman with a Y chromosome, so it was one being that could birth God's children. And that's what I represent, the return of that Christ frequency. And so they swapped it out. They made it, God made man and her as his helper, but it's actually God made the vessel, the woman vessel, and him as her companion. And so that's been fraud. But the truth of the matter is that women have children, mothers. Children belong to mothers. Period, end of story. Mothers are at the head of the helm. Because one thing that man also needs to know is that he is not responsible for 50% of the genetic. It's not 50-50. Nope. No, it isn't. No, it is not. The woman is the one with the womb. She is the one who builds the child and imprints his qualities onto that second strand. So we also need to understand that the hierarchy needs to be corrected. Now, here's what I want to inform everybody of. Don't worry. I know there's a lot of apprehension. I know there's going to be a lot of, this is new. Wait a minute. And the natural instinct is to want to argue with it. That's not what it is. Of course. And I'm pretty much aware of the fact that the whole world has been convoluted about the truth. But here's what me getting announced to the world says. It says, I know what I'm talking about, and it's tried and true. And it is because of the fact that God dwells within me and speaks through me is why my understandings of things, I don't expect anybody to treat me like I'm superior to them. That's exactly what I am here for, is to be this mediator and the final decision holder, so that way none of us get duped again. I'm straight up on the side of love, on the side of everybody living in abundance, on the side of everybody prospers. And that's just the only equation that works. when everybody feels great, when nobody is worried about where they're sleeping for the night, for example, when nobody's hungry, when nobody is cold, right? And see, the thing is when you situate the family properly, that's when it actually falls into a balance, that having it the other way around, it's not like it's that bad. You know, like, what's the problem, Allison? I'll tell you what the problem is it's God's creation. God had a purpose for everything, and we're returning to it because we're going to enter into the paradise era. We're going to enter into the living waters, the sphere of the living waters. And that's upcoming. It's around the corner, but in a cosmic sense, it's, you know, there's seasons, is what I'm trying to say. There's seasons in the cosmos, and that's what I'm here for. So, like, I came in through the wow signal. And this is what mankind doesn't like. They don't like that. Why don't they like that? Because mankind wants to control everything in the first place. And mankind wants to be superior to everything else as well. And so the fact that I've got something that they don't bothers them all the way around the table, you know? Well, oh well, God allowed them to do it their way this whole entire time, and I'm here now to get things situated, and they can just either sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride, there we go, and enjoy the ride, or they can kick and scream, but we're not going to give them any attention. That's just not what we're going to do. And they won't have any reason. There's not going to be any reason. So that's what I'm trying to say, is that this is that everybody's going to be able to get on board with, okay? Everybody's going to be able to get on board with it because these are my philosophies. I'm the mother of all of us, of humanity, of the wildlife, of the planet. I'm here to see to it that everybody is taken care of and taken care of well. So what we need to understand is, again, first, children go back to their mothers. Sorry, don't argue with me. Okay, and we're gonna separate the women and the women and the men, because we've got to get a consensus poll, and the only way we can do it is when we safely get everybody accounted for, meaning like, ask everybody how they're doing. You got to come out of the house and find out that everybody's okay, and they got to be taken away from domestic violent situations. And you know, there's cultures around the world that have certain ways of treating their women, and I'm going to tell you right now, everybody better let them know not to fuck with me. Not to fuck with me. Do not fuck with me. I'm very protective of women and children because I am one of both. And we're not going to have it. We're not going to have it. So those men, they're going to find it in their dignity to go, you know what, let it be. That's right, they're going to do that for sure. So the children, there's 50 million women and children around the world that are being trafficked. You know that? Trafficked. Let's talk about that for a second. Do you know that everybody comes from a family? Everybody's in a family. Every criminal is in a family, right? Well, do you know how many people are reported missing? It's absolutely disgusting. It's like pretty much about a million women are reported missing, but there's like 37 million women that are the victims of human trafficking on a rolling basis at any given time. Wow, whoa, that's a lot of people not being to combat human trafficking. It's a great campaign. It shouldn't cost them, but it's like, hey, everybody, where's your family members? Are any of you guys have any family members you haven't seen for a long time? Most likely they shoved them away and they shunned them out. Well, they need to file a report on their family members being missing or not missing. Families are going to start being accountable for their own children and being raised with love and not being left out there to die on the streets. But they're actually doing it like that these days. So that's what's going to that's what's going to get fixed. Right? There shouldn't be any homelessness. There shouldn't be anybody that's hungry, because we should have proper respect for the proper household. And that's what's going to happen. Okay? Now, another thing everybody needs to know is that everybody thinks that the marriage bond is biblical, but it is not. That is contrived by man. Man and his swap story, man and his control story. The Bible's talking about holy matrimony, and it's talking about the state of motherhood, and that's what I mean by protective of mothers and children. The bond is, in fact, one of the things that it's talking about with the markers of the beast system. Taking the mark on the hand or the forehead. A woman who's queen, or a woman who has children, giving away her ownership, herself and her children, through a marriage bond. Violate. Well, shit, Ellison, lots of people are married here. I know. God's not... Again, let me reiterate. The biblical translation is a forgery. It's a scare tactic. That's not what it actually says. Okay, so God's not coming down here to chop anybody up and fill the streets with blood. No, we're correcting the situation, and we're getting a second chance. We're getting a do-over. We're basically getting a do-over. of 18 years so that my daughter and I can have our time renewed in full. So marriage contracts are going to be nulled. You know, now relationships are based on who wants to be with who, because everybody's going to live in abundance. Everybody's going to get their participation factor. I say, you know, if you make every second count, make every second count. So that's 323,000 counts a year for everybody. Yep, that's right. That's what's going to happen. And everybody's going to participate in our consensus poll and fixing things. So initially, we're going to go through all the industries, and we're going to have them present to us as the people. So I need to develop an application platform so that I can have everybody log on at the same time. Worldwide, it's just the way that it is. And so I need to be able to capture everybody's votes and all this stuff. But anyway, I don't even have to find the developer for that right now. But we're going to go through the industries one by one. Everybody's vote is going to matter. It's going to be a consensus poll. We're going to get the information from the experts, you know, at the top of the line. We're going to have everybody present to us where we're at in that industry, whatever it may be. What's the best of the best that we got? What are we working on? What's outdated? What do we need? What are the constraints in these areas? Because the borders are going away. Borders are going away, and now it's basically every community for themselves, every culture for themselves. There's not going to be any of that weird shit. That doesn't mean that these leaders are going to lose the lead if they don't want, but I highly encourage them to want to take a vacation. I mean, who wouldn't want to take a vacation? I mean, because I have a problem with male dominance. It's the problem I've got since they were the ones that raped and pillaged us in the beginning, and that's what my daughter and I are back to reclaim. Yeah, we're the ones they raped and pillaged. Yeah, that's right, they did. That's what they did. That's what they did, and I don't want to get into that story right now, but it's exactly what happened, and they can just accept the fact that this is God returning with God's kingdom to right the situation, and they have nothing to worry about. It's not going to be anything that's going to hurt. It's not going to hurt them. Might hurt their ego, but they needed to knock that off anyway. That is so beautiful. My goodness. It's like a white one in front of a yellow one. It's very hard to see. There you go. A little pink in the background. Just amazing. Cosmos is so awesome. Cosmos is so super awesome. So yeah, we're going to fix the situation real quick. Children are going to go back to their mothers. We're going to separate the women and the men. Send the men on a walkabout if necessary. We're going to have class. So we're going to have like a skeleton crew for the infrastructure of the necessities. It's not like things, again, nothing's going to hurt. This is going to be the greatest time we never saw coming. And we're going to feel part of a team, of a world. Everyone's going to feel great. Everyone's going to feel great. And what's going to go away? So the people who are going to be all upset about it, well, let's take it from the top. Okay, so the leaders, they've got a problem with it. Of course they do, but I don't have a problem with that. Of course they are. They're possessed by demons. They're addicted to their control. Okay, so moving them aside, the military, right? Well, actually, the military should feel rather chill about it because they don't have to do anything. I'm simply taking war off the table, so they can just keep their stuff, whatever they got, and just, you know, stand at attention, and I'll let them know what I need when I need it. Because actually, this is a system that's we're gonna eliminate lies. We're gonna eliminate violence. We're gonna eliminate kidding oneself. We're gonna eliminate exploitation. We're going to eliminate it. We're going to eliminate, like, inappropriate touching of children, okay? There will be nobody's space being violated, period. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do that. It's with the orbs. The orbs that are here, that already are here, which I have every reason to believe that Boogosphere is an example of it. That Boogosphere gave itself to us, ladies and gentlemen. It did not fall out of the sky. It gave itself to us so that we could what? Get to know it, not be so scared about it, because they're off the coasts. They're in large numbers. They're stacked deep. And I have every reason to believe that they are here because I told God about my plan for us to need our sidekick. And then I find the orb. And I found them. So there's just the interactions with the living light is getting stronger and stronger. So I have every reason to get here for that purpose, especially because as I was telling you, the Holy Scripture is like the small book woven within the Bible. The Bible is like a forged version. So that's from top to bottom. That's not God's word. This has been Satan's domain. That's Satan's book, if you will. God's paradise is what we're entering into. So God's truth is in there, but it's a small book woven within. And it's testimony of my daughter and I. It's our testimony. Okay, so here we're. Corporations are out of here. We don't need money system. We don't need a money system. We just need everybody receiving their thing. And that's just for the interim, essentially, because we need to go from what we're doing to what we're doing next as smoothly as possible. We're not trying to break everybody's, we're not trying to break our spirit. We're specifically not wanting to break our spirit. We're trying to do this with as smoothly as possible, as seamless as possible, as painless as possible. The goal here is that we're supposed to graduate into intelligence with the end of the carnal stage. And that's what everybody needs to know, is that it's not like it's something to fight about. It's not even like it's up for a vote. There isn't anything other than what God's plan is, because it's God's cosmos, and God has a plan for this thing the whole entire time, right? God's on a bigger clock, though, than we're necessarily not familiar with. But yeah, God's been doing this thing the whole time. And God's still doing the thing, and it's calibrated down to the second. So we really need to realize that we're not in charge. As much as we think that we've got free will, I'm telling you, God, that's what the purpose of the prophecy is for. It proves that God saw this whole thing in the beginning, and that God planned, worked around the fuckery, so that way, what like my life is in IsY'Ae, it's to the T, and but not just to the T, as far as accuracy, talked about in the beginning, about the now. Happenstance and everybody else is involved, and how does God do that? I know. That's when you end up, you'll end up like me, where I'm going, dude, fucking God, you're awesome. You're just fucking awesome. It's just not a joke. Layer after layer of meaning. Layer after layer of meaning. It's true. Like the forged version of the Bible, it's their story, though, and so that's why things almost are taking place like that, because that's the way that they organized it. But there's another version of that, and that's what I'm here to show you the translation of. And what it does say. Oh, that's so beautiful. So, there's a lot of people that think that the Bible is the way that it goes. This is a nice, good Christian colonial family. And again, back to, I don't know where, but I'm open to having the conversation, though. I'm not trying to tell people, just deal with it. I'm here to have that conversation. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Do you see that? That is a rainbow. You can't, though, can you? Oh my gosh, I can't get any closer. That was interesting. It was a rainbow line of these planetary things. And they look like little mini Saturns. Really interesting. There we go. There's green, yellow, red. Yeah. It just doesn't translate very well. Very interesting. See this line of... That's from some kind of projection inflection. And if you can see the colors, it's like a rainbow. Yeah, so the cosmos is big. What we've been told isn't true. I'm not here to try to rub it in everybody's noses. So the people that have, been writing the lies and, forging the history and deleting the information and all that stuff, they just need to chill out. Okay? They just need to let this happen, because I'm not trying to rub their noses in it. But I can if I want to. Like, who did this here? Stand before us and speak. I could do that if I felt like it. So I suggest they all just kind of keep quiet. We're going to fix this thing, and we're going to blame all the problems on those guys that just took off. They just took off. Yeah, they're lucky they're out of here. Right? Guys, that's what we're going to do. Okay, because we're not going to try to rub anybody's nose in it. The obvious, though, there's been so much obvious that should have been seen, but we're not here to do the ass whooping. We're here to do the calibrating. So hopefully, this is what I'm saying it for. I'm trying to give those people who are going to really feel butthurt about it, who are going to really try to pull out all the stops, they're literally going to go insane. I have a reason to believe there will be some people that are going to go insane, losing their mind on the reality that it's not going to be what they wanted it to be, even though they put thousands of years in the preemptive strikes. Yeah, it's true. And I don't think they know how to. I don't think they're going to know how to handle it. Well, here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to soften that their blow. I'm trying to show up with bells and whistles so that way there's an incentive, because I already understand the fractured state of the human consciousness, the human conscience. It's a fractured state, and it's been for some time. So that's why the goal here is to get this done as smooth as possible, because God doesn't want anybody to feel anything other than love. God is stepping in the nick of time to demonstrate to us what love from source feels like. That's the way you learn it. When you, first of all, didn't even know, you didn't even think God existed, you know, we figure we just left in the middle of somewhere. Matter of fact, humans even say things like, we shouldn't even be here. I don't know why they say that, but yeah, so we're not abandoned. God didn't leave us abandoned. Okay? People don't even, they're like science. Science tries to assert such drab and stoic points of views, and it's just not the way that it is. So we're going to bring color back to our conscience, and we're going to reinstill the things that our souls already know are right. So I'm paving the way for us to be able to have our autonomy, our self-governance. Our self-governance. And so that's why by having orbs is going to make it real awesome. So I have every reason to believe that they're here for that purpose. Why wouldn't they be? I asked for them. They're here. They're waiting. They're waiting off the coast. So everything looks like it's a go. So in the Bible, though, in the Gematria, 623, that's Apollyon. And that's IsY'Ae is 623. Alexandria, my daughter's name, when I use the Y instead of the E, it's 623 as well, Alexandria. And 623 and 6, that's 603 score, because it's 603 plus 20. But it could also be 602 threes and a 6. So there's multiple ways that you can read that. And I've got those understandings. So Apollyon, that's the leader of the locusts. Again, God has led me to find all this information. God said on the recording, I have a recording of the voice that speaks in the wind. And it said tutukui, which is the word teo, the word tu teo koi in Greek. It means like you and God. The Spirit also said Gadon, which Gadon is the other name for Apollyon. Okay, so that's why I'm bringing it up. Leader of the locusts. What's it talk about? The orbs. Talk about the orbs. That's awesome sauce. Because imagine that. Like that takes care of transportation. That takes care of. I mean, now all of us will have like what? I don't know. I'm imagining like a vehicle size pod that can go in the water, that can go in the sky, that can go anywhere it wants. Doesn't need fuel. You know, it's going to be bells and whistles. And what I'm doing is I'm going to manifest it to the utmost while I can, ask for what I want, because I already know I might not get what I ask for, but I'm our representative, guys, to the cosmos. Like I'm over here trying to make it happen for us, because I am connected to the divine, and God does. Every time I turn around, God's showing me to something else that God thought about, like in consideration for this, and it's just so super awesome. And I'm here to show us all how to access that, and I'm here to demonstrate to us all that we're humans. You know, there is no such thing as perfection. So the stories that we've been told about, like, you know, this world wants everybody to feel like they're a failure if they're not perfect, and if they do anything wrong. Look at that. Look at how sick and foul that is. This world wants to teach you to be like, you know, a proper. They want to hate up on women all day long. These men that like even joke around with each other, like as if they deserve a woman that's like, you know, a virgin, and they talk about it. They deserve it. They deserve it. Wow. But and yet this world also wants to teach that it's okay to do blood ritual sacrifice. This world is insane. I encourage everybody to just let it happen. Just let it happen. I'm not anyone's enemy. I'm here to do this for all of us, and it's going to be the way that we want it. It's going to be the way that we want it, because we're going to feel good about ourselves. We're going to feel good about our planet. We're going to feel good about our civilization. And guess what? When we've got that kind of a morale, we excel at such an I can't even describe how much, like, the graph is going to go boink. So to those who are going to be scoffing, like, oh, Allison's going to slow down progress, you better shut your face. Okay, you guys didn't even progress in anything. You guys have been wasting yourselves on things that are going to be undone. Why is that? Because you guys fucked around. CERN, you guys meddled with the atomic code. You guys meddled with the genetic code, the intelligence code. You're not supposed to do that. CERN's got to get undone, which is why time's also going to be renewed from the end of 2008. But progress is not going to be stalled. We're going to jump like a quantum leap is what's going to happen. So there's no reason for anybody to be putting up a tantrum. And I anticipate it, though, from many of them, the ones that just want a war fight, the ones that are just addicted to control. I mean, who here has a problem with them being upset about it? Who here is going to be upset? Who's going to be upset at me because those very religious cultures of people think that they can just chop women's heads off whenever they think that they can have ownership over women? Who's going to be upset at me because they're upset? Yeah, there isn't. No woman in her right mind, no human being in their right mind, no human being in their right mind advocates that kind of behavior. And it's just been a long time coming. And so that's what this is going to be. This is going to be that ripping off the Band-Aid, or what's a better example? Yeah, taking off your caste. Taking off your caste feeling. Like freedom of movement again. And it's the kind of thing that makes us all feel better at the end of the day. So the ones that kick and scream are the only ones, they're making a scene because they're losing something they didn't want to lose, but they're not even looking at it with the proper perspective. This is gaining. Because the trajectory of this society, this civilization is headed off the road, off the bridge, off, the end of the pier. It's doing us no good. That's why it's so balls to the wall right now. And that's just the way things happen. So Atlas is nothing to worry about. Don't let these paranoids in the military and the government cause anybody to take it. Don't get paranoid about it. It's nothing to be paranoid about. This is a cosmic family. Mind you, like out there in space, it's not sci-fi, wartime. It's not pew pew. It's not. No, you don't get technology that is advanced like that if you're gonna have that kind of a low-level intelligence. You don't get that technology unless you have intelligence. And we're about to graduate to intelligence. Not everyone's going to make it. Yeah, that's right. Those ones that want to be carnal. They just don't want to let go of, ritual sacrifice. Okay, well, your choice. But the time is now. You're going to have to qualify. And so we get a second chance, those 18 years, to do these last 18 years again. From the end of 2008. It's a do-over. That's how the people that are dead come to life. Because God's going to renew that time. So that I can give birth to my daughter again. Because she was kidnapped ago, and this has been the persecution leading to this. Sorry, I was holding it the wrong way. Leading to this shift of power, the changing of the guards. So we all get these 18 years renewed, to my understanding. And again, this is all to my understanding as far as I know. I don't expect myself to be perfect. God doesn't expect me to be perfect either. Because God, oh wow, whoa, God gives us what we need when we need it. That is something else. Yeah. There is something interesting about that. You can't see it though. It's really bright, like with it looks like almost like an egg yolk. Or like an egg with the yellow on the inside where, yeah, that is interesting. You can kind of see. Yeah. Cosmos is making a move. Biotech and biomanufacturing trillion-dollar industry was off of my information. They said secret, my genetic straight to the divine. And they've been trying to crack that code, and they've been experimenting on me, and now my child. Okay? So they forged it on stolen goods, and that means that they're not only not billionaires, that means that they're in the hole. They should just sit down and be quiet again. I got an answer for everybody that's got a problem. And they know it, which is why I'm trying to tell them up front so that I don't have to deal with it. But you better believe they're working that out. They're not going to make the announcement or even talk to me about it until they've all decided to take it up the ass. That's just a perverse statement, of course. So I'm not going to take anyone's houses, but immediately, obviously, people that are homeless are going to need to be housed. Like, we're going to come together. We're going to need to make decisions together, guys. But we're going to do it, and we're going to help everyone's morale get corrected. We're going to heal, and we're going to situate things properly. So if I was any leader, for example, what I want to do is give them a round of applause. Because we're closing off this last period, this last era, and we're starting a new one. So we can give them a trophy. You guys won. You guys did a great job. Look at you guys. You're at the top of your game. Round of applause. Let's give them a parade. And then we can start the next win-lose. There isn't. There's no need. Never the case. Okay, the future influences the past. So I'm not here to show off and be some god or some, like with wielding magic and all that stuff. That maybe that was necessary in the beginning, but the mojo right here is that we get there together. I'm not here to be better than everybody or powerful in a scary kind of a way. So I'm not trying to conjure up those powers, but I tell you that I wouldn't push it because you never know. I'll ask for what I need when I need it. But God's already got his eyes on the road ahead. God's already made that path straight, is what it says. So we don't have to fear any kind of wrath coming from God. But what we have to do is we have to be willing to do what's right. That last scripture of Malachi says, in those days, the parents better turn their hearts back to their children so that their children turn their hearts back to their parents. And it's serious because children are what families are like. A mother, her child, she's not supposed to have children as a teenager, as a young woman. She's supposed to wait until she feels ready to be a mother. And she's not going to be having 9 children. No, we're not making armies and laborers and things. Okay, we're not making robots to fold our laundry. And as far as the sex robots, these boys, sure, they can have whatever they want, but like your sidekick should, there's nothing wrong with that, but my point is we're going to get things situated first. And their problem is that they don't like slowing down because they know that loses momentum. Well, they're going to need to accept this shift. It's just all there is to it. And that's what I'm encouraging them to accept, that this is just going to be the greatest thing that ever happened, and all of our participation is necessary. We need to be willing, and we need to simply know that I'm here to listen to all of us, and we're going to make decisions based on all of us. And so that's why it might feel to the elites, but it's really them that's going too fast for the rest of us. You know what I'm saying? We need them to slow down. And we're not trying to bring everybody down to poverty. That's what they were planning. Yeah, that's right. They were planning on that. They were figuring the easiest way to eliminate this, that, and the other for the Sustainable Development Goals is to bring down the first world countries down to like second world countries or something like that. They were just, the money men did not want to let their hands off their money. Well, we're going to situate that real quick. There's not one person on the face of this earth should be suffering. And in those, that's what an advanced civilization should be able to say, that the people are all doing fucking awesome. That's the minimum. How are the people doing? They don't ask, how's your businesses? How's your net income? Right? They don't, that's not the question that is asked on an audit of a planet. It's how are the people? How's the wildlife? How are the environments, the natural habitats? And my answer right now is, oh fuck. I gotta tell you, we got problems. Okay, we got animals and zoos, and oh my gosh, we got commerce on the oceans. They overdoing that, toxins. They're putting nuclear waste in the oceans, etc., etc., etc. Mankind didn't think he had to answer for it. Well, he doesn't necessarily, because we're here to fix this once and for all, and it's a waste of time to try to rub anybody's noses in it, which is why they should just allow this to happen and not try to put up a fight and be a crazy nincompoop, because we're all so thankful that God created this cosmos and has this paradise up ahead for us, and that we're upgrading to intelligent beings. And then we get to be light beings after that. God wants us to enjoy life. Like, God didn't create life to be a bummer. God's not a mad dad or a petty piece of shit. God is straight intelligence at the top of the game, at the top of it. Like, fathoming God is not necessary. Just know that God is, and it's awesome. What does that look like? Does it look like a cloud? No, that doesn't look like a cloud to me. No, it doesn't look like a cloud. So, it's time to admit that we're big girls and boys. We're adults. We can handle it. We can handle it. Oh my gosh, that is awesome. This is just, and then that's white in the middle. That is awesome. I can't see it though. It's like a ball kind of right here. Hey, you can kind of see it. Yellow around it. There you go. Super awesome. Amazing. But yeah, you know, the powerful people, again, I'd love to hear from anybody. And I know that there are people that are watching the things that I post, even though my information makes it look like they aren't, because I'm shadow banned, and I understand that, but it's time to start engaging, guys. So I am going to give awards to people who make bold steps from this moment forward. People that stand out, that do the right thing first, that spread the word and get the message out, that engage with me in conversations, that share their thoughts and feelings like I ask them to. I'm going to give people awards for being outstanding in the face of you know, this shift and having the strength and the dignity to do the right thing, say what needs to be said, get the word out, whatever the case may be. So I encourage everybody to be open-minded to this and to know that this is one step at a time, guys. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to argue with. There's evidence for days. God is not expecting us to have blind faith in anything. Everything self-verifies. It's just the truth. So, don't worry. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be better than okay. Everything's going to be, and mankind is going to be so surprised. He's going to realize that he's getting exactly what he wanted the way he wanted. He just didn't know how to get it. And the truth of the matter is that that's because God put mother in that role, and they didn't know that when they first got here, but they will now, and God loves them just the same. We're going to feel good about ourselves, and it's going to be awesome. So let's get excited about it so we can start trying to shift our energy on the daily towards thinking about what we want to ask for. Like, so in the meantime, between now and when we start class, right, to talk about it and to gather this consensus poll, start thinking of the things you would ask me to do, to change, to implement. Start thinking of those things and write them down. That's exactly what I'm looking for, is for everybody to say what they want to say. We want to know what everyone's feeling and thinking. We want to know what everyone's circumstances are and conditions are. And we're not going to put up with any kind of nonsense. And it's just going to make sense like that. So I wanted to capture a little bit of sky. I wanted to put a couple ideas down on the record. Thanks for listening. Spread the word. What the heck? Sorry. It looked like it was a shadow. Okay. So, yeah. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. And if you... Yeah, that's it. Till next time, guys. Okay, bye.
Finish.
No. No, you can't do that. Dear God.
Select to speak.
No.
Color inversion.
Lord, what?